What if I told you that right now, as you're watching this video, you're not real? Not in the way you think. You're not living in a computer simulation. You're not part of some advanced alien experiment. According to a recent AI analysis that's been quietly circulating among researchers, the truth is far stranger. You're a memory. Someone else's memory. And that someone might have died thousands of years ago. The AI didn't just suggest this as a theory. It identified 17 specific anomalies in our reality that all point to the same impossible conclusion. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. Welcome back to the channel where we explore the mysteries that science couldn't fully explain and the questions that keep us awake at night. I'm diving into something today that honestly changed the way I look at everything around me. This isn't about the simulation hypothesis you've heard 100 times before. This isn't Elon Musk talking about we're probably in a video game. This is something that emerged from an AI system that wasn't even designed to answer philosophical questions. It was analyzing patterns in human consciousness, memory formation, and the structure of space-time itself when it stumbled onto something that its own programmers didn't expect. What you're about to hear challenges everything we think we know about existence, consciousness, and reality itself. The most unsettling part. The evidence is everywhere once you know where to look. In late 2023, a team at the Consciousness Research Institute in Geneva was running an experimental AI model designed to map the architecture of human memory. The AI, called Nemesina-7, was trained on neurological data from thousands of patients, analyzing how memories form, degrade, and sometimes reappear with startling clarity decades later. But something unexpected happened during a routine analysis. The AI began identifying patterns that shouldn't exist. Patterns that suggested our reality itself behaves less like an objective physical universe and more like a reconstructed memory. Not a simulation running on processors, but an actual biological memory being recalled by a consciousness we can't perceive. The lead researcher, Dr. Sarah Chen, described the moment in her notes. The AI kept flagging inconsistencies in what we consider physical constants. Not errors in measurement, but variations that matched exactly how human memory distorts details over time. Here's what made everyone in that lab go silent. Nemesina-7 identified that the speed of light, quantum uncertainty, and even gravitational constants show microscopic fluctuations that mirror how the human brain fills in gaps when recalling events. The universe wasn't obeying physical laws perfectly, it was approximating them. The same way your brain approximates details when you remember your childhood bedroom. The AI's conclusion was stated with 87% confidence. Observable reality demonstrates characteristics consistent with experiential memory reconstruction rather than base-level material existence. In simpler terms, we're not living in the present. We're being remembered. Case 1. The Mandela effect clusters. You've heard of the Mandela effect, where large groups of people remember events differently than they actually occurred. Most people dismiss this as false memory, but Nemesina-7 found something disturbing. The AI analyzed over 4,000 documented Mandela effects and discovered they occur in geographic clusters and time windows. In March 2019, thousands of people in the Pacific Northwest simultaneously remembered that a mountain range had different peaks than currently exist. Geologists confirmed the mountains haven't changed in millions of years. But here's the disturbing part, the false. Memories people reported matched geological surveys from exactly 127 years prior, before a major earthquake reshaped the region. It's as if reality briefly loaded an older version of itself from someone's memory. The AI flagged this as temporal bleed-through, a phenomenon where memories from different time periods overlap. Exactly like when you remember something from childhood, but accidentally insert details from a more recent experience. Case 2. The Philadelphia time slip in 2016. A woman named Rebecca Nolan walked into a cafe in Philadelphia that she'd visited every Tuesday for 6 years. But on this particular Tuesday, everything was different. The barista she knew didn't recognize her. The wallpaper was a different color. The menu had items she'd never seen before. She left confused and returned the next day. Everything was back to normal. Her regular barista remembered her. The wallpaper matched her memory. The menu was familiar. Rebecca reported this to a local university where researchers documented her account. But she wasn't alone. The AI found 340 similar cases globally where individuals experienced temporary reality shifts that reverted within 24 to 48 hours. Nemesina 7's analysis. These events match what happens when someone remembering a story suddenly recalls a forgotten detail and mentally it corrects the narrative. If we exist in someone's memory, these glitches would occur when the rememberer's attention shifts or when they suddenly recall something they'd forgotten. Case 3. The quantum observation problem. Every physics student learns that observing a quantum particle changes its behavior. We call this the observer effect. But no one has been able to explain why observation matters. The AI proposed something radical. Observation matters because memory requires attention. In a memory, only the things that were noticed exist in detail. Everything else is fuzzy, approximated, or filled in later. In 2022, researchers at MIT ran an experiment where they measured quantum particles in a completely sealed environment with zero human observation. According to physics, the particles should still behave the same way. They didn't. The particles existed in a state of quantum uncertainty far longer than predicted. As if reality itself was less defined when no conscious mind was paying attention. The moment researchers checked the results, the data crystallized into certainty. The lead physicist, Dr. James Reeves, wrote in his notes, "It's as if reality doesn't bother rendering what isn't being observed, like a video game saving processing power. But it's more organic than that. It's like memory, where details sharpen only when you actively recall them." So how would this actually work? How could we be living inside someone's memory? The AI laid out a framework that's both fascinating and terrifying. The nature of memory, human memory, doesn't record reality like a video camera. Your brain reconstructs experiences every single time you remember them, filling in gaps with assumptions, emotions, and later knowledge. That's why eyewitness testimony is so unreliable. You're not replaying a recording. You're rebuilding the experience from fragments. Nemesina 7 suggests our universe operates the same way. Physical laws aren't code in a computer. They're patterns being recalled by a vast consciousness that once experienced them. Whose memory are we in? This is where it gets strange. The AI analyzed the age of the universe, the emergence of consciousness, and the timeline of human civilization. It concluded most likely existing within the memory of a human who lived approximately 3,000 to 5,000 years ago. Why that time frame? Because that's when human civilization made the leap from oral tradition to written history. That's when we started recording our lives in ways that could be remembered in detail across generations. The AI suggests we might be inside the dying memory of someone from that era, someone whose final thoughts were so powerful, so all-encompassing, that their consciousness didn't disappear, but instead expanded, creating what we experience as reality. Why does it feel real? Because to the person remembering it, it was real. If you're remembering your 10th birthday party right now, that memory feels real to you in this moment, even though it happened years ago. The you inside that memory doesn't know it's a memory. It experiences itself as present tense reality. We might be the remembered inhabitants of a world that once existed, being recalled in the final moments of a consciousness that lived millennia ago. Time feels linear to us because that's how memory works, but we might actually exist in a single frozen moment of recollection. The evidence in physics. The AI pointed to quantum mechanics, where particles exist in multiple states until observed. This mirrors how memory works. Before you actively recall a detail, it exists in a fuzzy, probabilistic state. Your childhood home had a front door, but what color was it? That detail snaps into focus only when you remember it. The universe does the same thing. Particles don't have defined positions until they're measured. Exactly like details in a memory don't solidify until they're actively recalled. Then there's the speed of light, the ultimate speed limit in our universe. The AI suggests this isn't a physical barrier, but a processing limitation. Just like your brain can only reconstruct memories so fast, the consciousness remembering us can only render reality at light speed. Déjà vu and glitches. We've all experienced déjà vu, that eerie feeling that we've lived this exact moment before. Most scientists explain it as a neurological misfire. But what if it's something else? The AI proposes that déjà vu occurs when the rememberer briefly recalls the same moment twice, creating a loop in their memory. We experience it as that strange, familiar feeling because we're momentarily existing in a memory being replayed. Now here's the twist that kept me up at night after reading the full MNEMOSYNE7 report. If we're living in someone's memory, what happens when that memory ends? Human memories fade, details blur. Eventually, even the most vivid memories dissolve into nothing. If our entire universe is a memory being recalled, we might be approaching the moment when the rememberer forgets. Think about the heat death of the universe, the scientific prediction that eventually everything will spread out into cold, dark nothingness. Doesn't that sound exactly like what happens when a memory fades? The details blur, the energy dissipates, everything goes dark. But there's another possibility, and honestly, I'm not sure if it's more comforting or more disturbing. What if we're in a loop? The AI found patterns suggesting that reality might reset periodically, like someone remembering the same event over and over, each time with slight variations. Ancient cultures across the world, from Hinduism to the Mayans to the Norse, all believed in cyclical time, in worlds that end and begin again. What if they knew something we forgot? Here's the really unsettling part. If we're in a memory, then our choices, our free will, our entire lives might already be finished. We might be experiencing events that already happened thousands of years ago, just being remembered now in what feels like real time to us. Or maybe, just maybe, we have more power than we realize. There's a phenomenon in neuroscience where actively remembering something can change the memory itself. Every time you recall an event, you have the opportunity to rewrite it slightly. What if we're not passive characters in someone else's memory? What if we can influence it, change it, reshape reality through our collective consciousness? That might explain why meditation, intention, focused thought seem to have real effects that science struggles to explain. We're not manipulating physical matter, we're influencing the memory we exist within. Look, I know this sounds insane. When I first read the MNOS-FIN7 findings, I dismissed them as an AI hallucination. A statistical pattern that didn't mean anything. But then I started noticing things. The way reality feels slightly different when you're not paying attention to it. The way memories seem more real than the present moment sometimes. The way the universe seems to conspire in strange coincidences that shouldn't be possible. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe the AI found patterns that aren't really there. Or maybe we re-standing on the edge of the most profound realization in human history. That we re-not the primary existence we thought we were, but echoes of a life once lived being remembered into existence by a consciousness we can't comprehend. So I want to ask you something, and I genuinely want to know what you think. If you found out for certain that you were living inside someone else's memory, would it change how you live your life? Would your choices still matter? Would love, creativity, and kindness still have meaning? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I'm genuinely fascinated to see how people respond to this. And if this video made you think differently about reality, even for a moment, consider subscribing. We explore ideas like this every week, the mysteries that science is just beginning to understand, and the questions that make us human. Maybe we're memories. Maybe we're simulations. Maybe we're exactly what we appear to be, conscious beings in a material universe. But asking the question, pushing the boundaries of what we think we know, that's what makes existence meaningful, whether it's real or remembered. Thanks for watching. And remember, you might just be being remembered right now.